Audio test, audio test. All right. Evening, folks. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy stream. And today we are playing with a brew. It's going to be a rather spicy one, if I'm being completely honest with you. So I'm going to wait just a second to launch into the full deck tech. I want to take just a second to throw up the rest of the queue on screen here. I've received a lot of donations recently, and I'm really looking forward to some of the things we have coming in the next couple of weeks. I received multiple different donations for Enchantress, so I'm super excited to get a chance to revisit that again. And I have a really cool variety of things. So one of my donors messaged me and changed their donation deck to Jund, so we're going to be seeing that. We're going to see a little food chain, some Eldrazi, some Loam, and then some slightly questionable piles that should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm also going to be exploring some other things that I can be doing on the channel in these difficult times. So here we go. This deck is built around Storm Herald. It's a 3/2 with haste, and when it enters the battlefield, you can return any number of aura cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to creatures you control. You exile those auras at the beginning of the next end step, and if they would leave the battlefield, you exile them. The goal with this deck is to put an Eldrazi Conscription, or maybe multiple of them, into the graveyard. Then we play Storm Herald, maybe on like turn 2, and we build our own Eldrazi. So this gives +10/+10 Trample Annihilator 2. Hey, welcome. So this is kind of a we're going to live the dream deck. So we have Careful Study, Faithless Looting, and Izzet Charm to discard the cards that get into our hand. We have Thought Scour that can maybe mill it. Do multiple Consecration Annihilators stack? Yes, I believe they do. I think it's like you get an instance of Annihilator 2. I think so. Like, that conceptually makes sense to me. I don't think it's like lifelink. Well, maybe we should figure this out before we get started. All right. Eldrazi Conscription. No, not TCG player. Gatherer. There should be a ruling on that in Gatherer. Yes, if a creature has multiple instances of Annihilator, each triggers separately when that creature attacks. That was my thought. So the goal is that as early as turn 2, theoretically, we can have a hasty Eldrazi in play. There are backup plans here. So we can show and tell in Eldrazi Conscription and put it onto a creature. And then the other big scary aura we have is Corrupted Conscience, which lets you take control of a creature and gives it Infect. So let's say your opponent has a 5/6 Tarmogoyf, like just to use a reasonable sized creature, or a Gurmag Angler. You can put in Corrupted Conscience and then take a creature, give it Infect, and probably turn it into a 2-turn clock, which is sort of hilarious. The other cute piece of tech here is Arcanum Wings, which has Aura Swap. So you put this on a creature, and then you pay 2 and a blue, and exchange this aura with an aura card in your hand. I wonder what one we'd pick. The sideboard is essentially like part of a show and tell deck, so that you can like swap out some of the aura stuff and like put in like Grizzlebrands and Emrakul's instead, so that we can kind of attempt to play a more reasonable show and tell based game 2 if things aren't necessarily going so well. And then we have Unearth to return like Storm Heralds from the graveyard. Fine and Andy, would that actually work? Like, if they show and tell in a creature and I show and tell in Corrupted Conscience, doesn't Corrupted Conscience need to target something that was already on the battlefield? Not 100% sure on some of my aura rulings, but I believe that is the way it works. Alright, show and tell, auras, MTG. If an aura is entering the battlefield under a player's control by any means other than resolving an aura spell, and the effect putting it onto the battlefield doesn't specify the object or player the aura will enchant, that player chooses what it will enchant as the aura enters the battlefield. The player must choose a legal object or player according to the aura's enchantability and any other applicable effects. So, yeah, I think it works the way that I said. Well, Gilded Drake creates a trigger, right? Yeah, that's the difference. Gilded Drake creates a trigger when Gilded Drake enters the battlefield. Whereas the aura has to, I think, enchant something that's already there. Not 100% sure. We'll figure it out if it comes up. All right, this is Brent B's donation deck list. It's a little bit of a brew, so we maybe shouldn't expect some of the most competitive games tonight, but we'll see how it goes. And if we can make a couple of sweet Eldrazi's, I'll be pretty happy. Like, Storm Herald's a cool card, but I wonder if this is going to be one of those cards that, like, we need more crazy auras. Like, what's the name of the next set? Ikoria, something like that. We're supposed to get, like, the largest aura of all time in that set or something like that, so, like, maybe we need more big business auras. Or another way to bring them back from the graveyard or something. Yo, Faithless Looting, Eldrazi Conscription, I'm in. Man, I can't even imagine Reddit losing their shit if I 5-0'd with this deck. I would be happy with a 3-2. Oh yeah, this is going to be a weird one. Like, I feel like 3-2 would be a success for tonight. Inquisition of Kozilek, you say? Well, you're not taking my Eldrazi Conscription. Let the fun begin. Hope you all are doing well. I know things have been kind of crazy, you know, everywhere recently. I just got the notification that I'm basically going to be teaching online for the rest of the year. I think it's until like May 17th or something like that. We're now guaranteed to be online and schools are closed. So that stings a bit. I'm not surprised, but still not happy to hear it. Our volcanic islands are now tri-lands as well. Our opponent's probably a combo deck, so I might want this Force of Will. I think I'm just going to pitch one of the lands that my opponent has already seen and call it a turn. I could use Faithless Looting off Lotus Petal to loot again right now. But that seems like a bit much. Like, Faithless Looting is already -1 card when I cast it. and so losing the Lotus Petal would suck. I was going to say, this is the only exact line that would punish me for doing that, is, like, not, like, playing around the Dark Depths by trying to get a blue card for Force of Will. Yeah, I'm starting to think about my summer job teaching at Latin Academy and whether or not that's actually going to happen. Can I Corrupted Conscience of Merit Lodge? Somehow? Let's find out. Or is it Brainstorm? So Brainstorm can hit Ancient Tomb and Storm Herald, and those two cards would win it for me. That's a 2 of plus a 4 of. Alternatively, we could get Ancient Tomb, Show and Tell, and Corrupted Conscience. Let's do it. Doesn't Annihilator make you sacrifice permanents? Now I think I'm dead. If I had, like, one of Storm Herald or Ancient Tomb, Show and Tell, or Corrupted Conscience, I could Brainstorm one dig deeper and try to find another, but missing too many of the parts there to make anything work. Alright. So let's maybe bring in some of the Show and Tell stuff. Let's maybe board out this guy. I didn't talk about Valduk, Keeper of the Flame. But at the beginning of combat on your turn, for each aura and equipment attached to it, make a 3/1 red elemental creature token with haste, exile it at the beginning of the next end step. So he's just a clock where if you happen to, like, enchant him with Arcanum Wings in the short term, it's not bad. Lightning Bolt's kind of weird because my opponent just, like, plays out a Elvish Reclaimer. Then, like, that's an appropriate answer to it. Let's maybe take those out of the way. Trim the Random Thought Scour. Infecting Merit Lodge is too hilarious to, like, not keep those in the deck, right? Is that reasonable? Probably not. Now we have a lot of disparate pieces thrown together into this shell. Let's see if we can string something together. I get a lot of looks at Show and Tell. Find an Andy. Let me dream. Let me dream. But yeah, you're totally right. But as we saw there, like, if they can just jam, it looks like they're just going to jam. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. It's going to happen. So we'll discard an Eldrazi Conscription and a Grizzlebrand, and then pass the turn. If we don't get Thought Seized, we are just producing a turn 2 13 Hasty Annihilator 2. Come on. Come on. Don't discard me. Don't do it. No. Maybe they won't see it. Maybe they won't see it. Dr. Bill, thank you very much for your continued support, as well as the support of Julian earlier today. He's going through a rough time right now, like many of us are. His whole job situation was pretty darn weird. It was about to be an Eldrazi. Maybe we'll find another Storm Herald. Who needs Ponder? How deep am I going with this Faithless Looting? So, like, I definitely discard this. I feel like I'm okay junking the Lotus Petal and going deeper with lootings. Because I just need the right card. I don't need many cards. I think it's correct to keep... Not that. I think it's correct to keep the Grizzlebrand and hunt for Show and Tell next turn. Yes, I registered for the 100K today. Quite excited about it. I don't technically need to fetch here, but long term I have a Mystic Sanctuary in my deck, so I am going to want to have these islands, which is why I'm taking the lines that I am. Yeah. Dank Ritual, thank you very much for following. Hope you're ready for some jank, because we've got it tonight. Opponent has gotten rid of Dark Depths, which probably indicates that they have another in hand already. And I am just an Elvish Spirit Guide away from death now. I'm on 5 mana. Wah, 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 wah. They saw the line. If not for discard, we would have had an Eldrazi on turn 2, though. Yeah, so if you miss the deck tech, our goal is to discard Eldrazi Conscription, either with Careful Study or Faithless Looting, and then bring it back with Storm Herald. Storm Herald. So I'm kind of digging the art for this card. It's not like it's anything like too fancy or anything like that. But he's just like, hey man, I'm here. The lightning's here. What you gonna do? Yeah, we might have looked like a regular Griselbrand deck, but we are not. All right. Keep. I'm not sure that I'm going to understand how the mulligan button works this league. Because, like, we have such an odd smattering of cards that I don't really know what to do. All right. Some sort of Doomsday deck? I was thinking Steel Stompy until I saw the LED. I don't think I want to brainstorm lock myself on turn 1. Oh man, hey Zardian, welcome. It has been quite some time since I've seen you lurking in chat. I mean, you're from Italy, so hope all's well there too. Yeah, I know, Crane. That's why I'm confused. Maybe they're a Tesserator deck? And the LEDs are for, like, Karn or Narset purposes? I think I'm going to discard Corrupted Conscience and a Lotus Petal. I'm going to play out a Lotus Petal. And pass the turn. Next turn we'll try to set up. We'll have Brainstorm, Fetch, Faithless Looting, and then hopefully we've cobbled together something that works in some capacity by then. Chromox Pitch Echoing Truth? Is this TES? Yikes. TES with Vault of Whispers? And main deck Echoing Truth? I think I'm supposed to brainstorm for Force in response to that. Yikes. I put back Eldrazi, Conscription, Storm Herald, and let that resolve. So now, I Thought Scour, target me, mill the Eldrazi Conscription, get Volcanic Island, cast Faithless Looting, find Force of Will? Nope, not find Force of Will. We'll discard 2 Show and Tells, play a Lotus Petal, pass, And then hope Wishclaw Talisman doesn't kill us, but it probably does. I don't think opponent... Oh wow, they have white for a silence. Fairy. Essentially, yes, they do. We do just have lethal if our opponent doesn't kill me with a Wishclaw Talisman, though. Like, we Storm Herald, return Eldrazi Conscription and Corrupted Conscience. And they're dead. Scoreboard. Gonna have to send that one to my good buddy Bryant Cook. Alright. Flusterstorm seems fine. Leyline seems acceptable. Not great, but acceptable. And Shenanigans probably falls in that same category. Then we can decide whether or not we're playing, like, Emrakul's Grizzlebrands, or whether I just, like, play Unearth for Storm Herald. I don't know. So, like, I don't want Lightning Bolt. I could divert from my opponent's discard spells, which is kind of hilarious. Variest, thank you very much for your thank you very much for your continued support as well, friend. You're here for shenanigans. We got that. We've got that in spades. All right, let's cut this guy again. And maybe let's not go for the aura swap thing. Man, we don't beat like Surgical Extraction on Storm Herald, do we? Just throwing that out there. All right, let's not Thought Scour. And maybe I don't even Leyline, and I just say, like, if you're going to echo me, you're going to echo me. And I'm just supposed to play, like, Emrakul, Grizzlebrand. I mean, the Izzet Charms are super sweet here. Why not? Our opponent must be playing multiple Vault of Whispers. So I think I'm just going to play land, pedal, and then pass the turn. I could careful study this turn, but I think I just want to represent more counterspells. And I might be able to trade Is It Charm for a particularly juicy thing as well. So is it non-creature? It is non-creature. I think I'm just going to treat Is It Charm as a force of will here. And junk my Lotus Petal for it. And keep double force of will for something juicier. Reapel cheap. I think your suggestion is good. A gamble. So gamble gets Echo, the Echo of Eons. That's fine. I'm going to do an end step brainstorm here because it sets me up to potentially win with the right cards. Those are not the right cards, but they're still pretty darn good. Like, the Eldrazi Conscription obviously isn't very great, but this Force of Negation is pretty disgusting. I think I'm comfortable pulling the trigger on the brainstorm here. Alright, goodbye. Eldrazi Conscription and careful study. Let's hold the show and tell for if we draw a fatty. So I could put a brainstorm back on top of my deck and take that as my draw for turn. Right, this is 3 islands. Yeah. Lots of good hits here. Emrakul, Grizzlebrand, Storm Herald. Storm Herald. Okay, let's put back the Faithless Looting and a land. And then just keep the highest density of blue cards in my hand. Maybe we do that in the other order. Land, then Faithless Looting. Nice. So we did it, folks. Like, we are on the scoreboard with a 2-0 versus TES. Five, oh, for sure. Yeah, that's what we're going for. Yeah, so like the first, yeah, we'll talk about that some other time in between rounds. The Legit Pony 666. I respect your squirrel avatar. Or is it a cat? It's so hard to tell with the giant 20 in the way. Scratch, Loon, and Kitten. It's a cat. I thought it was like a squirrel with a little acorn, but now I see that those are the paws. Yeah. Is this one actually good? Like, we have 2 Faithless Lootings to loot. I kind of feel like this one might be a mulligan. I'm going to keep it. Like, we have a Spell Pierce and a Lightning Bolt, so we can play interactive magic versus our opponent for a few turns, and then loot. So, like, turn 1, I would just hold up Spell Pierce and Bolt by playing out Scalding Turn. So it looks like we were playing against lands. Oh, was it 4 horsemen? That's what on earth that Basalt Monolith thing was. Okay, that makes sense. I could not for the life of me figure it out at the time. Yeah, no spoilers about what's coming this week. But you're going to see some things. We have a basic mountain. No, we don't have a basic mountain. We don't need basic mountain where we're going. We're gonna get Ghost Quartered into Oblivion. Never mind, we're gonna get Wastelanded into Oblivion. This is rough. All right. There's the hope. No, it was really supposed to be Eldrazi Conscription. Goodbye, Bolt. Goodbye, Show and Tell. We have many Storm Heralds. How many basics do I have? 2 islands. So I can fetch an island with this Scalding turn, not be able to cast Storm Herald until I get another land, not be able to cast the Faithless Looting. I think I'm dead. Yeah, I wonder how quickly that combo actually goes on Magic Online. I think we're good. I think we're good. Let's try again. Okay, so 100% want these ley lines. And I'll probably bring in Grizzlebrand Emrakul. I'll probably not play Lightning Bolt, Arcanum Wings, this Duder, the Thought Scour, the Corrupted Conscience. Yeah. Perfect sideboard plan. Show and Tell would be cool with that hand. Yo. Keep. Discard is a charm. Done. Land. Go. I will Spell Pierce it. Now opponent like resolves exploration. Yeah, alright. What a turn. This is going to be unfortunate, because they get to Elvish Reclaimer either for the Dark Depths or for Caracas. Right on time, Leyline. Right on time. Alright, but like, how greedy is it to go for Eldrazi Conscription off a show and tell here? Because if it works, I just get all my life back. Gain 17. I can't say no to that, right? It is just like impossible to say no to that level of greed. Come on. Show and tell! Yes! This deck is the greatest deck. I need to snip that. Alright, that's for later. Alright, now what? So my lightning bolts are in the sideboard, right? I boarded those out. It's super unfortunate since my opponent is at 3. So I have no Lotus Petals yet. So I guess, do I have 3 or 4 show and tells? I have 3 show and tells. If I hit that last show and tell, I can just put in Emrakul now. Okay, Storm Herald also works. I can cast Storm Herald next turn. I can also just draw 7 more. And see if I hit the Emrakul. Or not the Emrakul, the last show and tell. I'm not in danger of dying, am I? I guess Punishing Fire would do it, but my opponent has probably boarded out Punishing Fire. No, I force a negation. This way's more fun for me. Okay, I did not hit it. I can just cast a Storm Herald now. I have 2 of them, right? Somewhere in here. I'm probably just supposed to save 1 for next turn, though. They just, like, discard a whole bunch of Eldrazi Conscriptions. Yeah, that seems fine. I can put one into play. There's so many options. I guess I will just put a Storm Herald into play. Or can we play 2 next turn? I like the way you think. Let's do that. So I need to keep Emrakul. Need to keep at least 1 blue card for Force of Negation. Get out. Storm Herald. He's gonna be such a big boy. Big boy. He was going to have 3 Eldrazi conscriptions on him. 33-33, annihilate 6. So this stream's been fun. What a big boy. So, like, say what you will about some of the deck construction things here, like, it definitely stung not having a basic mountain, for example. But, like, we made the biggest Grizzlebrand in the history of Grizzlebrands, I believe. I don't think a Grizzlebrand has ever been that big before. All right, let's hope that we do not get wastelanded. Because we're just, like, not beating it. Rashad Port's real good. This would be a great turn to draw Lotus Petal or Ancient Tomb. Fuck. GG. We don't beat Wasteland block. We can try to wiggle through by playing, like, Polluted Delta and another fetch land. Or by spiking Ancient Tomb off the top. You are another fetch land. Good, I can use you. Get in here. You just, like, flop yourself on top of my deck. That would be great. somewhat surprised my opponent didn't play Port there, so they could port my fetch land if I didn't do anything else, and then wasteland me the following turn, or otherwise keep a land locked down. Yikes. So I am dead to... Yeah. So this is what I think my opponent should have done last turn. To set themselves up for the next turn. Because if they had like played this instead of Thespian Stage last turn, maybe have like another exploration into another Rishadan Port or something, because that would be savage. So the good news is I hit another land. The bad news is it doesn't really count as hitting another land due to the Rishadan Port. I don't know what Starlit Mantle is, but I don't think Not of This World is probably good. I don't think we're consistent enough in enabling it. Like, there's going to be a chance when the Storm Herald is in play, but not yet on the battlefield. Wait, is it Charm that? It may free up some of my mana. They pay with Stage, Diamond, then no, then they port me anyway. No, I don't. Is it Charm that? All right, I think I'm dead. So I'm going to take a risky line here that may allow me to do something that matters. We're going to try to loot here. And see if I can spike Ancient Tomb. Fuck. We're going to see if we can spike Ancient Tomb and Petal. We did not. All right, I think this is the point where I'm comfortable calling it good. Like we're off all our mana basically forever, and now even if we got the Eldrazi Conscription in, I don't think it's going to be enough. I think my opponent will just like sit comfortably. Yeah, so right now it kind of feels to me like this deck just needs more cantrips, like Ponder. Ponder seems like gas, or more Thought Scours or something. Like, I think trying to get Arcanum Wings to work is not necessarily good. So if we're going to play something as a show and tell target, shouldn't it just be like Emrakul or Grizzlebrand? like, Lightning Bolt, Arcanum Wings would probably be on the chopping block for me. And I wonder if we can do better than Corrupted Conscience. Like, Corrupted Conscience plus Eldrazi Conscription was sweet in that, like, we got a kill in that way. But more generally, I'm not sure that it's where I need to be. So let's hold up Spell Pierce versus this opponent. Sure, but as far as like show and tell creatures, right? We have the Grizzlebrands and the Emrakul's in the sideboard. So is something that requires two pieces to work together to work going to be better than Grizzlebrand or Emrakul on their own? And the answer is probably not, right? Yeah, like I feel like I need more dig in this deck, especially since we're so reliant on Storm Herald for Game 1 scenarios. Pierce. Pierce is awkward for if my opponent has a ritual. But I think I'm doing it anyway. Rough. Veil of Summer is a good Magic card. Can I assemble a kill this turn? The difficult part is getting something into the graveyard. Like, I could brainstorm looking for Eldrazi Conscription, but then I would have to use Izzet Charm to discard, and I probably need to use Izzet Charm to not die next turn. So I have Izzet Charm plus Brainstorm available. I'm hoping that I don't need to go off. I'm hoping I don't need to stop them from going off so that I can try to use Brainstorm plus Izzet Charm to either dig through my deck or, like, actually set up a Storm Herald, quote, kill. Oh, super excited to see that. I'll look forward to it. I'll update the queue after the stream. I just added a bunch of, like, Enchantress and a couple other things to it, so I'm pretty excited. I don't really do the whole modern thing. This is not great. I need more than just Corrupted Conscience here, because that's just like 3 infect damage that is actually actively bad for me. But it will represent a kill with one other card. All right. Come on. Let's find it. All right. I do not want this bolt. And since the Corrupted Conscience isn't going to be good enough on its own, I think I'm just going to junk it. think I'll just pass the turn. Tapping out for Storm Herald as a 3-2 is not a reasonable way to win the game. So this thing is an ETB trigger, not like an each attack trigger or anything. So we get one go. Yeah. My kingdom for some ponders. So let's put back looting, careful study, play land. Loading through the bad cards that are on top of my deck. Pass turn. I'm in trouble if I have to use both Izzet Charm and Force of Will, because then I don't have a way to discard a big aura to the Storm Herald. It's also not clear that, like, the Storm Herald Annihilate 2 will be good enough to actually win the game when that occurs. Business is indeed good. Nobody can go outside. Everybody wants to stay in and watch Legacy. I get it. If the queue builds up much more, I might put like daily D&T on hold for a week or two while I just like stream for a 4th day to get the queue down to a slightly more reasonable time. Our soft permission of Izzet Charm looking pretty poor here. Yep. That's not officially happening or anything. But if I miss a like donation for daily D&T, I will definitely just put it on hold for a week and stream more. So I have to counter that, because that just represents Empty the Warrens as the next card, which I cannot beat. And then this can be activated during their turn, so they can just use this to get Veil of Summer and pretty much beat me. Right? Like, That seemed like a great Veil of Summer spot. Maybe they only have one main deck Veil of Summer or something. Those are not the auras I'm looking for. I think I'm supposed to fetch and then flashback Faithless Looting. I could Mystic Sanctuary to put a Brainstorm or something on top of my deck. But I'm kind of just hoping to YOLO double Eldrazi doohickey. So we've churned through 23 cards and still can't combo off. Wrecking A. Man, I should have just put this Storm Herald into play like 8 turns ago. My opponent would be dead. I don't think Reanimator sideboard's a good idea, because like if we show them that we're at least a partially graveyard-based deck in game 1, then Graveyard Hate potentially comes in for game 2. So I think your thought process is these things synergize together so they could work, not thinking about what your opponents are going to be doing in reaction to your deck. Oh, that sneaky Bayou. Alright, what makes this Wishclaw Talisman turn different from every other possible turn you could have used Wishclaw Talisman? Like, I don't get why now would be the moment to go for it. I could make it so that my opponent has to ad nauseam with nothing there, but that doesn't really do anything because the deck plays a million 0-cost artifacts. Yikes. Wow. Now Storm Herald is a kill. Does my opponent have me dead? They have 2 starting mana. Oh, That took the Thoughtseize. That's mighty interesting. They took Dark Ritual there. So, I Izzet Charm that and kill them. They just have LED for mana. I guess they can use both their Petal and their other thing to pay for it, but this is going to be my best chance to use this spell this turn. So this costs them Petal and floating blue mana. They could take a non-deterministic LED-based kill. I don't think they can do a deterministic Wishclaw Talisman kill with 4 mana, since they have to use some of that to activate. Did they play a land for turn, or did they play the second opal for turn, or both? I could scroll up through the log, but I'll probably find out in the next 15 seconds. So now my opponent echoes. Oh, baby. I have lethal represented with Storm Herald. I have 2 counterspells that my opponent has to work through. Oh my god. Oh my god, we win. Oh, this is beautiful. My opponent approves of my life choices. All right. So, what did we do before? I feel like before we brought these in, played Fluster, eyed Divert and Leyline, but didn't end up bringing them in. So I think I went Bolt out, Arcanum Wings out, the Thought Scour out, Valduk out, Corrupted Conscience out. Oh, yeah, I feel like I boarded Shenanigans before for Wishclaw Totem. I don't know. Slots are kind of tight if I'm bringing in all this stuff. I don't know. I don't know that we can afford to board out a Conscription if we're planning on winning with Storm Herald. Like, I can't really cut copies of my core combo, I don't think. Yeah, our opponent definitely has discard. If we get to a game 3 scenario, I might ley line. Real talk, I also just might make a 3-2 on turn 1. My opponent mulled a 5. This is better than Delver. Now we can just like try to play like a regular blue deck. And just like use... Alright, I feel somewhat justified in my decision. Unless I draw like Eldrazi Conscription right here, then I'll be kind of sad. I just love another Storm Herald as the top card. Just like, hasty red dude, go get him. I wonder if this is good or bad for me. Yo, that's a clock. This is the greatest Legacy deck that I've ever played, and it's not close. We're gonna get a turn 3 Goldfish if our opponent can't kill us this turn. Oh, no. GG's, friend. GG's. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. That one's for Bryant. I'm gonna have to make sure he does some testing of the Storm Herald matchup, because we've beaten TES twice. GG's. If you told me tonight that we were going to beat TES twice, I don't know if I would have believed you. But we just turned 3 goldfish without doing our combo. Ancient Tomb is good. Haste is good. You might not like it, but this is what peak Legacy performance looks like. What is this? The greatest Legacy deck ever. Awesome, confirmed. Folks, as we're going into the last match here, I hope you've enjoyed tonight. If you're new to the stream, please consider following, subscribing, doing something to support this channel. I believe we have gotten 2 subs tonight, so we are 1 sub away from our current sub goal. Yikes. I don't think I get to interact with my opponent. I think I'm just keeping cards that allow me to potentially string together a win. Oh, Bosk. Yeah, this deck is very wild. Very, very wild. I think this is a game where I sit on this brainstorm for, like, ever. This was a donation deck list from Kiwi and the Fruit in chat. It probably needs some work still, but the idea is super cool. That seems fitting. That seems very, very fitting. Fine and Andy, as always, thank you for your continued support, friend. Jerry, it's going well. Like, I do all of this streaming stuff, so I'm very much used to, like, recording videos and whatnot, so that's helped me a lot. Hey, Eric, thank you very much for the raid. For everyone who's just tuning in, we are playing with the greatest Legacy deck ever made. We are seeking to do things with Eldrazi Conscription. Oh, don't mind that. That's just a very sexy logo. Don't mind that at all. So we have been winning with Storm Herald. Here's the deck list for anyone just tuning in. The short deck tech is that we're trying to put Eldrazi Conscription into our graveyard and then return it to play via Storm Herald. And we have backup plans if things go wrong. And Reaple Cheap, thank you very much for your continued support as well. The Garros, the VODs from today, like when this is up on YouTube later, it's gonna be pretty hilarious. I enjoyed playing this a lot. Alright, that's part of what I need. just gonna, like, pass the turn again. Friend, I don't know if you've heard, but Death and Taxes is in a bad spot. I have... On, I think it was Sunday, I recorded 2 weeks worth of daily Death and Taxes. And some of the matches were a beating. Eldrazi Conscription Taxes next. Oh, can't be worse than next week's daily Death and Taxes deck list. Oh, sorry, I missed that question from before. I have goldfished some hands with someone else's didgeridoo deck in Legacy. I have not streamed with didgeridoo yet. Izzet Charm sees play in Legacy, like, as in real decks from time to time. It sometimes ends up being like a one-of in some young Pyromancer decks, or not in like actual Stryfopile, but in decks like Stryfopile that are trying to play lots of slightly different but overlapping cards. Like, it's a removal spell, it's a counter spell, it's looting. It does a lot. Similar in functionality to something like Drown in the Lock, which has become popular recently. I'm more proud of some of my, like, 3-2s with Jank Brews than I am some of my GP finishes. Yeah, Fire Ice is another great example, where, like, the card is obviously the right power level and good, but it's not always what you're going to want. So, what day is today? This is Monday, right? My conception of days is getting a lot worse now that I'm not, like, physically going to work. It's becoming more of a blur. So my next stream, that'll be Thursday in all likelihood. Brainstorm Thoughtscour is going to be Jund. I haven't played with Jund in a long time, so that should be fun. Not great. I'm going to put back Heddle, Pierce, play land, and pass. With the intention of just fetching away what's on top. I mean, this stream has generated some, like, A+ quality, like, clips / screenshots. Ooh, if Izzet Charm could go to the face, that card would be much better. Much better. Blue-Red Delver is real tight on its mana, in that, like, you really don't want to play 2-mana things most of the time. Or if they are, there needs to be a good reason for it being 2-mana. Such as, like, Brazen Borrower being a 2-mana bounce spell, while also being... What am I looking for? A win condition attached to it. Yeah, going back to the teaching stuff, there's a lot of troubleshooting right now where, like, the kids... I don't get to counter that. Where, like, the kids are learning to do things, and I'm learning to do things. I just learned today that I'm going to be online until mid to late May, so... That was something I expected, but you're not happy to hear it. Zoom is something that some of my colleagues are using. I am not currently using that at this exact time, but I have the option to use it. Hey, that's pretty good. So I am not doing live classes right now. I'm building modules, so I'm using Google Classroom. My Latin 1s are doing grammar review right now, and my Latin 2s are doing like introduction to composition fundamentals. So none of that really requires it to be live. Long term, I have to figure out what I'm doing now. I kind of built 2 weeks worth of materials in the hopes that we would have a better indication of how long this all was going to be lasting. Now that I know that it's lasting long term, I'm gonna have to like start making some like projects and stuff that get across like the rest of the things I was hoping to get across in the course. Which is tricky because rather than 50 minutes a day, we're supposed to keep it under half an hour of instruction plus work time a day to keep things reasonable on the kids. The big thing that's a hit to my morale right now is that I don't know whether or not I'm going to get to teach at Latin Academy this summer, which is like one of my favorite parts of the whole year. And it's just like the ideal teaching situation. And that's slated to happen at the tail end of June. And I don't know whether or not that's happening now. And that's hard for 2 reasons. One, because it's been something I've already been working for months. And 2, because like I don't know what that says about my like financial situation over the summer and that sort of thing. So we'll deal with one problem at a time. Yeah, fine and Andy. That's a possibility too. But there's also, oh no, my opponent is disconnected. I don't want to get the 3-2 like that. Yes, I mean I totally agree. Like you see all the college and high school classes switching to online instruction, and like we're getting it done. We're doing our best. We're getting through. But this thing over the summer, its full name is the Virginia's Governor's Latin Academy, and it's sort of an elective summer program for very advanced high school students, where they live on a college campus. They take Greek, Latin, culture classes. They learn to speak Latin, as well as a number of other things. Hey, the bronchitis is getting better slowly. There's still coughing on every stream, but as a whole, I'm feeling better. Starting to consider it like attempting to work out. Lifted some weights today. Just little ones though, not pushing myself. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing great. The girlfriend is a little more stir crazy than I am. I'm good sitting at home forever. She gets antsy, but we're doing fine. She has at least some degree of job worries. Oh man, it's the coolest thing in the world. Like, Latin Academy is the ideal teaching scenario because you get to teach with no grades, no expectation of grades, with highly motivated kids who are already good in your content area, who want to give up their summer to just like be nerds and like learn things. And it's everything you could possibly want from a teaching job. If I could do it like full time, I would quit my job in a heartbeat. Yeah, well, if you think about the people who are like running podcasts, a lot of them are people who excel in some area. So they're used to like being hyper specialized, focusing super strongly on some subject. So it's not surprising that like most of the people who are like running podcasts, who are streaming, are like totally good with like sitting inside, playing games, grinding, that sort of stuff. Like I I enjoy going out. Oh, my opponent is back. I enjoy going out maybe like once a week, having some drinks with friends, you know, going out to eat, something like that. Once a week, and I'm good. If I cut that down to 0 times a week, I don't notice a difference. Ooh, how did I fall into teaching Latin? That's actually a really interesting story if you haven't heard that one. So I took Latin as my language requirement in college. I was a biology and environmental science double major, and I didn't really want to take it. I very actively complained about it. And then I realized I was actually very good at languages, and I enjoyed it a lot. So I gradually took more and more Latin classes, and I realized I wasn't having very much fun with lab work. So I slowly shifted into being a classicist over time. Oh man. Get in the graveyard. I thought scoured myself, so I don't know what's on top of my library. One piece of counter magic backup. Yeah, fuck it, why not? I won't even fight over this one if my opponent forces here. Yeah. Right? Or does them forcing meaning they can't actually answer it as a creature? Yeah, I am a liar. I don't even care that the Storm Herald is gonna die. This is cool. What noise does Storm Herald make? W. I don't believe we just won that game. Like, our opponent had so many turns to set up. I was convinced we were gonna have this uphill battle, and we just made a 23-22 and murdered them. Alright, cool story. So I feel like I want this stuff and probably Unearths. Shenanigans on Astrolabes and Elks are kind of cute, but I feel like that's probably a losing battle. So I think I don't want Arcanum Wings. I don't want Corrupted Conscience. My opponent doesn't have anything cool to steal. I probably don't want Lightning Bolts, even though it can, like, answer Ice Fang Coatls. I don't want this guy. Never wanted that guy. Sorry, bud. And, like, maybe we just trim one of those to round things out. Flusterstorms are interesting. And Flusterstorms might actually be better than Force of Will. Like, losing the card's bad. But I feel like a lot of the time, if I get 3 mana and the chance to jam early, I just jam. And if this game is anything like last game, the Flusterstorms are going to get bad quickly. I have a Storm Herald. I'll keep. It's really hard to tell like what should and shouldn't be a mulligan with this deck. Again, kind of wish we had Ponders to help smooth out some of that. But since these are my like loot spells of choice, I don't dig quite as deep. I don't like that we didn't see a land there. Yeah, this is like definitely A+ meme deck. Okay, happy to see that. The question is, do I brainstorm? I think I brainstorm because if I get, quote, brainstorm locked, I just careful study. So I can put back a Faithless Looting and one card that I don't want. Put back, like, Faithless Looting, not Careful Study, I want to cast that. Put back Faithless Looting, Lotus Petal, land, Careful Study, discard, Faithless Looting, Lotus Petal, pass. And next turn we can start just like Faithless Looting until we find Show and Tell or Auras. I don't know Dwarven Mine off the top of my head. Yeah, but I think part of that is just like not having Ponder, right? Like not having Ponder is a pretty big deal in this deck. That's not worth fighting over. We just try again next turn. Some of the decks that I have played on stream recently have gone real deep for transformational sideboard strategies, but I would not say that that is the norm. I don't want Lotus Petal. And if I get a chance to put a creature in, It's Emrakul. So I don't want Grizzlebrand. We are 2-2 right now. Up a game. Again, Show and Tell with Spell Pierce back up. I feel like that just loses to Oko. But maybe this is just bait. Yes, I did. I don't remember which one you were, because I've gotten 4 or 5 donations in the past 48 hours. But I definitely added yours to the queue. Alright, I was not expecting that card. So I think I received 2 Enchantress donations, a Dealer's Choice donation. Connor changed his list from Bant to Jund. Got one for the... Oh, you were the Red-White Prison. That's right. Yes, I got that one. And then I got another donation for the Primeval Titan Stompy deck. I hate that I now can't Spell Pierce and Oko. Can't Spell Pierce that either. Uro is a great Magic card. I have a lot of respect for that card. I'm in. Fuck. How do I feel about that? I could... Is it Charm and Spell Pierce to stop it? Is it Charm and Spell Pierce to stop that? Then I Mystic Sanctuary it to the top of my deck. That's tricky. Yeah. I would Force of Will that if I could Force of Will that. So I guess this is fine. Oh. Cool. You just have like a Snapcaster for it after all of this. You do. I will pierce that. Let's fight. So real talk, am I supposed to cast a Storm Herald and start attacking? Probably not. My life total is a precious resource. The Ancient Tomb hurts. And my opponent potentially has removal in their hand. Fuck. That's very good. Fate Seal that. Oh my god, they didn't Fate Seal. Oh no, I guess I just bounced the Emrakul. That's brave though. I have Grizzlebrand instead. So we're playing Storm Herald to kill Jace. Alright. Swords to Plowshares super sucks here. But I'm not willing to play the second Storm Herald here. I am also going to jam right now. I am not going to play around Spell Pierce or another Mystic Dispute. Force Pitch Uro. So, the Uro is a problem here, because, it comes back from the graveyard this turn. That was also a problem. Alright, we're just doing things the hard way this game. These Storm Heralds are not doing what I intended them to do. I'm not disappointed in them, per se. It's just weird. Gah! So we go to 1. We don't go to 1. All right. This is a mighty expensive elk. Magic is weird. We're getting pretty close to the point where I can just hard cast an Eldrazi Conscription. Which might be my line to win. The Uro's real bad for me. Well, I guess I'm trading. The choices are trade or die. So... we're not dead yet. However, life's bad. So blocking this Uro sucks because my opponent will just recast it from the graveyard and draw a card in process. So I want to chump that. And I want to trade with this, and I want to live through that. I don't want to put the Emrakul into the graveyard. I don't want to redraw that. Brainstorm. Find something. on Earth. Am I just dead? So my opponent pluses here. I can live. I guess every turn that I live is clock away from my opponent. So that's worth something. Haste is good. Haste is good. We're trading with that. That one's mine. I will take it back. By force. Okay, do I want to change anything about my boarding going into this next game? I think it's the same debate before of Force of Will versus Flusterstorm. And I still like my reasoning of keeping Force of Will. So I have a show and tell target, I have an aura, I have a cantrip, a piece of disruption. I'm not necessarily doing anything fast. I think I'm going to mulligan this one. This is basically the same hand as last time. I'll keep it this time around. I think rather than cast a Careful Study on one, I'm just going to hold up Spell Pierce and, like, sandbag my cantrips for a few turns. I won't Pierce an Astrolabe here. They can have that. I'm going to go ahead and pass the turn here, and then I'll fetch and Thought Scour myself on the end step. But, like, imagine if I had Ponders. Fight? Feels like fight. Feels like fight. Don't bail me. Fuck. I don't care if you fight again, but I really care if you fail. Yeah. This is all fine. And now we have Force Pitch Careful Study for an Oko or equivalent. Mentor. Oko. Burrow. Well, we don't counter that. All right. I have enough things that I'm looking for of Disparate Natures that I'm willing to cast that. That is no good. We're left with a very awkward assortment of cards. Like, I can't Force of Will. I don't have Show and Tell for Grizzlebrand. I don't have an Aura for Storm Herald. It's not worth just playing out Storm Herald as a 3-2 and expecting it to get there. Fuck. We lost the game to that card. Alright, we're playing towards a timeout at this point. Unless we get real lucky and we spike the ability to go for it this turn. You were one card too deep. If I didn't draw Eldrazi Conscription there, I would have played the Storm Herald. But given that draw, my future, like, Is It Charms and such, become so much better if I don't play the Storm Herald. And this is the other problem with playing the Storm Herald. Man, one card late. Like, we had Force for the Uro. Uro plus Sylvan Library is quite the combo. Just like take 8, don't care. How much life gain is this? It's 3, right? Yeah. Uro is one of the new hotness cards in Legacy, in my opinion. Now that life's bad, probably have to play one of these and hope to somehow magically trade with Uro next turn. But like Ice Fang Coatl, any removal spell, anything stops that. No, it's not almost Oko good. It's just good. Oko is on a whole nother level still. Like, Uro is great. But Uro is not like, just shove it into any deck that is blue and green and it will get you wins by itself good. I don't know how many of you were watching Julian's stream earlier today, but he just shoved a bunch of Okos into Elves. Just 4 of them. And it made for some surprisingly interesting gameplay. That's interesting. Should I force that? Doesn't feel good. I'd probably force that. I need to trade with the Uro. This is like one of the worst Force of Wills I've ever cast. Oh shit. What a punish for choosing to force. Fuck. Alright, it wouldn't have worked out anyway. I still would have died. Alright, Snapcaster Source of Plowshares wraps it up. GG, Ryan39. You have bested me. Okay. So big takeaways from today. If you're going to try a brew, you should probably staple it together with good cards. We really needed to dig for specific cards. We needed Storm Herald and Eldrazi Conscription in these Game 1 scenarios, and it just wasn't working out without, like, Ponder. So more things like Ponder and Preordain to staple this together would probably be pretty good. There was also a call for, I believe the card is Academy Researchers, as another thing to help with the redundancy of the combo. So the first thing that I would do is probably cut all of these cards. And honestly, I'd probably cut the Show and Tells too. And I might play like 4 Ponder, 1 Preordain, 4 of the like Academy Researchers, and try to make the core of this deck more consistent. I also might consider cutting some Spell Pierces just for more Force of Negations, because if things are going your way, you tap out for Storm Herald a lot of times on turn 3 or 4, and you can't also hold up Spell Pierce. So I wonder if more free counter magic is going to be better. Needs green for Oko. I mean, Oko has held together a lot of the bad decks that we have played on this channel, to be fair. Green for Veil in the sideboard would be interesting, though. Then I wonder, so like, if we end up cutting the Show and Tell main deck, we need to do something else with the sideboard. And that's where I wonder if you just play like Young Pyromancer and friends in the sideboard and just say, hey, if the Storm Herald plan doesn't work because you are like messing with me, how about like 4 Young Pyromancer for, I don't know, maybe not Dreadhorde Arcanist because like you're also graveyard centric, but I wonder if you can take the transformational sideboard plan in a different direction. And I would use Young Pyromancer as a starting point for that. Anyone in chat have some thoughts? Because like I think the clear takeaway from today is more cantrips equals better. To Mythic Proportions or Elder Mastery. All right, Old Man Phil needs to look up these new fangled cards. Mythic Proportions. Oh no, this is an old card. I just don't know. All right. Enchanted creature has +8/+8 and trample. Okay, so that's just an alternative aura. And Elder Mastery. The other thing is that, like, I wonder if you just need to wait for Ikoria for another big stupid enchantment to give more consistency to the deck. Because I feel like if you have 8 big dumb enchantments and 8 things that cheated into play, that's much better than like the 4 and 4 that we have now. I'm not like exactly counting this. How much does Seasoned Pyromancer cost? Is that 3? Like, Seasoned Pyromancer is another thing that could be interesting. Because you discard 2, draw 2, so that also helps with your graveyard-based shenanigans, and it makes elementals, helps you go wide. If you bin these with Faithless Looting, it works too. So, so maybe you have, like, Seasoned Pyromancer, Young Pyromancer, Lightning Bolts in the sideboard or something like that. Or like Dreadhorde Arcanist is another thing if you're going to have like Lightning Bolts in the deck too. As a general legacy, is it worth it to buy Okos, or do you think he'll get banned in the next months? I do not recommend buying paper Magic cards for paper tournaments at this time. If you're buying Magic cards right now, on MTGO, well, that's an entirely different story. Yeah, I'm going to finish my little anecdote, though. If you're buying paper Magic cards right now, you should be doing so to support a local store that you're afraid is going to go out of business, or to like have long-term financial prospects. Like, it is a great time to buy like people's Magic collections that are like panic selling and whatnot. Prices of Magic cards will go back up again. They always do. But I would not invest in paper Okos right now if you don't already owe them. I would kind of slow roll that. How much is Oko on MTGO? So this is a site that I keep bookmarked for when I need to look up the prices of things. Oko. 20 ticks. So, like, for me, given the number of ticks that I have, if I spent 100 ticks on cards, I wouldn't notice. But it really depends on what your situation is. I strongly believe that Oko is in most of the best Legacy decks right now. So if you are looking to play a lot of Magic Online and you think your deck should include Oko, like, buy them and grind the value out of them. Make it worth your time. But if you're only going to play, a scattered bit of Magic Online and you're not sure that you want to be playing with Oko, maybe hold off. But Oko is great. If Oko doesn't get banned, I will probably be playing Oko in the 100K next year. Like, the card's insane. Unless they print crazier things in the upcoming sets. Like, I don't know. All right. What a stream. Like, we beat people to death with hasty red creatures. We created a big Grizzlebrand, and our opponent conceded to a Storm Herald that would have gotten back 3 Eldrazi conscriptions and created a 33/32 Annihilate 6 creature. Oko's not in curse, it's not worth anything. Good point. Alright, folks, I hope you've enjoyed this tonight. I certainly did. And I will be back probably on Thursday with some Jund. Take care, folks. I'm going to turn you over to my good friend Anurag. Have a great rest of the night. Keep on casting your Okos, or your Storm Heralds, or whatever it is you're casting.